Ve değerli konuklarımız, şimdi de Sonda Sport özelliklerinden Sonda Sport Dijital Pazarlama Müdürü Kamil JAKUBCZYK ve Wojciech Jurkowski'yi huzurlarınıza davet ediyorum. Kısa bir sunum yapacaklar birlikte. GPS'in futboldaki avantajları üzerine.
Thank you very much. Hello. Hi. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello. Hi. Okay, I think we are ready to kick off. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Wojciech Jurkowski. I'm here with Kamil JAKUBCZYK.
Hi.
And together we represent Sonda Sports. And today we would like to highlight you briefly the key advantages of using GPS tracking system for athletes. Just before we move strictly to listing and describing the features that our trackers are able to collect, I would like to share a few words about our company and basically who we are. So Sonda Sports was initially established in Poland in 2012. Two sports and technology enthusiasts, Emilia and Wojciech. They were in search of a tool that would allow them to see exactly and more deeply into the statistics coming out of their sporting performances. So in 2014, they decided to join forces and establish a company. Since that time, we managed to bond collaboration with partners from 14 countries, extending up to 4 continents. Some of the players players and sports, that are using this technology are coming from football, rugby, field hockey, and korfball teams. This should have come as no surprise that most of our customers are football players, football teams, hence we are here. How can your team benefit from using GPS systems? This is the question that we've been asked frequently during this phase. Basically, it's all about collecting data, and behind data stands figures. If we know what these figures means, we can somehow forecast what may be the performance of our players. Some of the basic statistics that our trackers collect would include definitely distance covered, heart rate, or let's say maximum speed. And these stats basically help coaches to mainly estimate if a particular player is training the way he should, if he's putting enough of effort into his training to be in the best shape. Another one worth mentioning is to keeping track on workloads, and that would include efforts in red zone, player load, heart rate, and speed thresholds. These stats will help coaches to adapt a training adequately into a certain player's current capabilities and shape. Another one that is available within our application are heat maps. Based on the heat maps, coaches are able to estimate if a particular player is basically fulfilling the tactical arrangements when it comes to holding the right position on the pitch. Another feature that is available within using our application and helps coaches maintaining their teams is to motivate your players. Basically, let's just imagine that we have, for example, 4 defenders within our team, and just simply by showing the statistics to each of their players, like arranging a meeting with them and showing them that, for example, one of the players is doing best, is doing extremely well, definitely the rest of the 4 no, the three remaining players will definitely try to keep up with the one who did very well during training. So this should have been motivating the players to catch up with the best one who's performing best. Motivate them by showing progress in an easy to understand graphic form. In a further part of this presentation, Kamil will show you exactly some graphics that come from our application. It's very eye-pleasing, easy to understand even for the players. So if they see what's happening with their body, with how they are training, performing, this should also have an effect on their training performances. And we all know that football is taken seriously these days. Just showing your players the statistics will make them think, will make them be aware that, for example, they haven't been performing as good, let's say, within the last month, and that just simply they need to train a little bit more harder. From this point, further part of this presentation will be conducted by Kamil. So Kamil, take it away.
Thank you very much. Hi again. So before we've had questions about injury prevention and reducing the risk of injury, so I'm going to address this now. But before we start this, I know that you as a coaches know the pain of losing the key player just before some important game. It causes a lot of stress. It causes a lot of just a lot of movements within the team that are not necessarily good. The morale is down. The performance during the match is probably down too because you had to do some tactical adjustments and nobody is actually 100% ready for that. But besides these obvious things about the players getting injured, I want to show you that actually not preventing the injuries can also balance your can also affect your team's balance sheet. So these are the numbers from two studies I want to show you. So, no, and yeah, sorry for that. So these are the two studies I want to show you. Wojtek, can you move a little bit? Yeah. Thank you very much. So the first thing, the study from Spain has estimated that on average the player spends around 16% of the time outside of the pitch because of getting injured. That's quite a lot number actually, and this corresponds to a loss of around 188 million euros per season. A lot of money, really, really a lot of money. And the second study, not sure if you see, so I will just read it. English Professional League estimates a loss of 74.7 million pounds from injuries during the follow-up of 2 seasons. Again, enormous number, and actually we didn't put references here, the sources for the data, because we didn't want to mess up too much with the graphics here. But in case you would have any questions, you would further examine the studies, for example, please feel free to contact us and we will provide you all the necessary information, all the sources for the data used. So, as you can see, the costs are pretty high, and how we can prevent this, how we can work better on this, of course, by capitalizing on data from GPS tracking systems. So there are two main ways that we like to advise to our customers. The first thing is the most obvious one. It's controlling the player's workload. And this is extremely important for many reasons. Because of the fact that before coaches had to only rely on their guts feeling regarding the player's condition. There were a lot of situations where the player was either overtrained or undertrained, and this is equally dangerous actually, because undertrained player can also be it might happen that he will get injured with bigger possibility. And actually another study I want to talk about estimates that around 90% of all injuries is caused by a soft tissue injury. And a lot of these injuries, actually most of them, are caused by improper training clothes. So this is huge. So if you can prevent this, you can prevent the huge part of the whole injuries. Of course, some of them can happen, during, for example, jumping, and somebody gets elbow into his head. But with soft tissue, you can control it by adjusting the training clothes. And the key statistics we want to highlight here that can help you with that is controlling red zones, so heart rate above 85% of maximum, heart rate thresholds, and player load. Of course, we measure way more, but these three are extremely important for this. And I can't promise you that just starting to measure this data to adjust training will help you to reduce the risk of injury in 1 week. Actually, you will probably need like 3 months, 4, even 5 months, because each player is different. So you would have to observe the individual cause for certain player, try to find the average for him, and for example, if you would find that you haven't changed anything really in the training regime, you hadn't played with workloads too much, and you see that certain player has a deviation from his standard results, that should be an indicator for you that something's not going very well, and maybe this player needs 1 or 2 days of rest just to get him to his full capabilities. This is extremely important to keep an eye on this. And the second part I want to talk about is using scientific models that has been published in the recent years, and also trying to experiment with your training regimes. So thanks to the data you collect, you know if you're, because if for years you have been using the same regimes, for example, you are missing a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of papers, scientific papers regarding new methods of training, and a lot of them are not very well documented, but you can check this on your own, for example, and then gather the data. Or you can experiment with your own, which actually also can correspond not only to reducing the risk of injury, but to increasing the overall performance. And this wasn't actually efficient before knowing the data, yes? Because you would know after a longer period of time that something's good or something's bad. Here you have everything ready for you to review. So these are the two key parts. The second one, so the scientific models, is very, very much into depth, and I've heard that we don't have that much time for it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to message me. So if you know now what are the advantages, I want to also show you how the system works. So the system gathers, in case of course of Sonda Sports GPS tracking system, tracks data from GPS Sports Tracker. This tracker gathers data from GPS, accelerometer, magnetometer, gyroscope, and from heart rate monitor. And they connect wirelessly with your Android or iPhone app, or with an application inside your desktop. So this is for mobile and computer use, and which is actually quite cool because the data is sent wirelessly, so you have a live preview. You can train and you can see exactly after just few seconds what is the player's reaction. This is also quite nice. And these are the statistics that we measure. There's 26 of them. We have grouped them into 3 categories. So first one are the basic stats, 9 of them. And the most important ones I want to cover here is the distance covered, heart rate thresholds, and heat maps. And 6 more. 14 workload stats like player load, metabolic power, high metabolic load distance, high intensity distance, very high intensity distance, actually a lot of them. And a group specific to injury risk reduction, so internal and external efficiency, training volume and intensity, and also automatic injury risk calculations. So you can use all these data to make perfect decisions about the players' training. And I think this is essential because you as coaches, we've talked with a lot of you. Most of you are really dedicated to improving your players, to achieving great goals, and this is great. You are goals-driven, and here we give you the tool to be the best coaches you can be. So you can rely not only on your experience, on your knowledge, but also on the reliable data. So I think it's very, very important. So this is how you can analyze this data. We've put a lot of effort to make it as accessible for everybody as possible. So we can see we display them in the graph form. So you can even after the training you can show your players their result. Yeah, you can show them, for example, that they have covered this and this much distance. Their heart rate was at certain amount, and the basic stats are understandable for everybody. Also, you can export this data to an Excel file to further play with this data, to try to make your own calculations, or maybe import it to systems like the mentioned before by Jorge. So you also have the flexibility with data. And this is it regarding our system. One more thing I want to mention is that we are trying to make this system as accessible as possible for everybody. So please, if you are interested, please feel free to contact us. And our mission is to allow everybody to train like an elite. So we're really looking forward for your feedback and for your questions.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Here you have a contact details. You can also find us in the book.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kamil and
Wojciech.
Wojciech. Thank you
I
very
know
much.
it's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Okay. Just one question.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can you follow the nightlife of the player?
Nightlife.
I don't know where
I don't know
you
if it's
have
legal.
You would probably have to put the tracker in some strange place, so I don't think that's the very best idea. But maybe in the future, who knows?
I don't know if the players will agree to that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, definitely they would not.
debatable.
Yeah.
Peki. Evet, günün anısına Doçent Doktor Mehmet Acet'i davet ediyorum. Kamil'e hediyesini vermesi için. Genel Merkez Yönetim Kurulu üyesi.
Thank you very much.
İki arkadaşımıza birden takdim ederseniz. Mehmet Bey.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you for your
Thank you.
attendance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you.